I just spent the last 3 months proving I could give myself superpowers by enhancing my cellular biology so much that every function of my body, whether that be muscle growth, fat loss, sleep, skin, hair, everything about being a human being can be done at superhuman levels of output by focusing on one thing: mitochondria. Watch me go from day 1 all the way to day 90, discovering what it truly feels like to be super powered. In this video, I'm covering my entire protocol, and I've been filming check-ins over the last 3 months. You're gonna see me every step of the way, what I'm taking, what my dose is, and what I'm feeling in that moment. Most importantly, you're gonna learn the best practices on if you wanna replicate this for yourself. Now, it is important to note before we get started that I'm not a doctor, this isn't medical advice, but if you're gonna follow through with any of the products we talk about in this video today, make sure you're only doing so under the direct supervision of a specialist in this field. Now, let's get started. Today is day 1 of my supercellular experiment. I haven't come up with a better name yet. Hopefully in the future I will, but I am going to be going through the most rigorous cellular experiment that I have ever seen on the internet, and it's going to be comprised of 10 different peptides. Right now, I am starting with my first of the 10, and that is SS31. If you don't know, SS31's main job is going to be to repair your damaged mitochondria. This is always going to be the first step in any cellular protocol, is to go in and fix the problems first. A lot of people think they should go the other way around and multiply the mitochondria and then go in and fix them. I have the exact opposite philosophy. Why would you multiply shit cells? You're just giving more things to repair. I would rather start with a great foundation, have all of my cells performing the way that I want them to perform, and then go in and multiply what's already good. I'm gonna run this SS31 for 20 days at roughly 15 milligrams a day. I have 200 milligrams total, so I'm just gonna take that every day until I run out. The whole purpose of this protocol is gonna be to really understand my body at a cellular level. Right now, it is the middle of March when I'm starting. I should finish this entire protocol probably around close to the summer. So by that time, I should be either superpowered or dead. We are at check-in number 2 on this experiment. We are just now getting to the end of my SS31 protocol, as well as the KPV and the ARA 290. Everything up to this point in the experiment has been about repair, getting my body up to the standard it needs to be before we go in and purge it of every weak and unacceptable cell in my body. I am definitely feeling the effects of the SS31 just between energy, mood, and overall well-being. You can just tell when it's working. Not to mention my Whoop shows that I am recovering at an exceptional rate. My HRV is up, my recovery is up, so I am getting all the benefits. Anyone who's taken SS31 knows by the end of it, you kind of got like a little high going, and I am definitely feeling that right now. So very, very happy with how the experiment's going so far. The inflammation in my body should be at an all-time low between the BPC 157, TV 500, KPV, ARA, everything mixed in. Now, we're gonna go through the hardest part of this experiment, or at least what I think is gonna be the hardest part, is phase 2, where now we have stopped the leaks, and I am talking about none other than FOXO4 DRI. Now, I'm a little bit nervous for this one. Number one, it's got no human trials in history. There's a little bit of a riskier peptide, but it is everything when it comes to getting rid of your zombie cells is how it's being used right now. Now with that, I am going to have to stop every other peptide I'm taking, as well as all of my supplementation, all the way down to basic things, even like vitamin C. Everything I take right now is going to have to come to a stop while I completely rid my body of these zombie cells. And then once it sees this destroyed cell in front of it, anything that has had rust on it, it is going to rid it from my body, which is a pretty radical experience. So I'm not going to be able to do anything like NAD+, which is going to promote cellular growth, right? I'm trying to flush cells out of my body for once. I'm also not going to be able to eat a very high protein diet, which is going to limit some of the functionality as well. And even worse than that, I'm not even going to be able to exercise or weight train. I can do some light zone 2 cardio, is about as high as it can go, but this is going to be a mental battle more than anything. And from what I've seen, you can actually expect a little bit of like a flu-like response for the first 48 hours afterwards. I didn't totally know what I was getting into when I started this, but like, we're already here. I'm not going to stop now. So this next week's not going to be super fun for me. Like I'm riding high on this SS31, feeling I'm getting the best results I've had in the gym in a long time. I feel as strong as I've been. I'm looking lean and all of the things I'm looking for. So stay tuned and I will see you guys next week. We are back and we are in phase 3. We finished up the FOXO4 DRI, lost a substantial amount of weight, finished up that clearing phase, and now we are moving into the new foundation. So as a lot of you guys know, at the tail end of phase 2, we basically nuked our cellular system, meaning we destroyed all of the senescent cells, all of those zombie cells that are attached to our liver, lung, kidney, heart, muscle, everything, slowing down our ability to function at 100% output. That's where I'm going to be including the bioregulators. So I'm going to be adding in Epitalon Epitalon, Pinealon, and NAD+. So the main job here is before we pour gasoline on the fire, we just got to get the fire started. With the bioregulators, we're giving our cells the ability and the strength to be in their best form. In a phase like this where I'm trying to recalibrate my body, my sleep is of the utmost importance. Well, before I can get into that kind of stuff, I do have to clear out some of the cellular debris that is in the aftermath of the nuking. And for that, I'm using Thymosin Alpha-1, which is going to rebalance the immune system so that all that extra gunk doesn't limit the efficacy of the Epitalon and the Pinealon. Now, with the Epitalon, it's always really well balanced with the Pinealon. Pinealon is also going to help with my circadian rhythm, as well as just my ability to rest and recover at that highest rate. Now, that's really what we're going to be prioritizing on this next 20-day bend, is how well we get ourselves back to baseline so that we can fuel the fire and get incredible superhuman-like results. The NAD's job is really going to be to give our bodies the cellular energy to perform those mechanisms, which is our body's own internal currency of how much cellular expenditure we're able to provide. Stick around for the next phase. We'll see how well this one works. I'm going to be running this one for about 20 days. I might check in halfway through, or I might just see you guys on the next phase. But from here on, we're back in muscle building mode, which is my favorite mode to be in. So I'll see you guys on the next phase. Woo! We are back. Guys, I am feeling awesome right now. We're midway through phase 3 right now. I've got another week or so on the Epitalon, Pinealon, NAD, and then we're moving into phase 4. Look at this. I don't know if you can see it that well. I am gaining some size back. Come on now. You know how skinny I was? Well, you do. For you, it was 2 minutes ago. Oh my goodness. I cannot tell you how much better it feels to not be starved and the brain fog from the Fox. But I'll tell you what I'm noticing pretty quickly. I think I've got thicker hair already. And that was one of the things that they found in the mice trials, is that they were able to regrow their fur back from bald mice. I don't know if that's exactly how this works, but from what I understand about the product, it could be the case, because that's what part of hair loss is you've got dead, decrepit cells clogging up those hair follicles. You can remove those and keep new cells flushing the scalp there. There's no reason that you shouldn't see increases in hair growth. I can't tell you guys how freaking fantastic I feel. I made a video on Instagram today actually talking about how the mitochondrial differences, especially going from SS31 first, which I think was the key to this protocol, was starting with the SS31 and then the Fox. A lot of people ask why I did it this way. Because I was able to restore the membrane to the mitochondria before going in and getting everybody off the boat. I've tried other stuff before, and I haven't seen results at this rate since I very first started TRT. So this is super promising, and we're not even at the part that I was expecting to get muscle yet. Phase 3 was really just supposed to be priming my body for the explosion. I can't imagine what phase 4 is going to look like. I'm putting on some size right now, and then by the time we get to phase 4, I mean, I should get pretty peeled. In phase 3, what we're doing is priming my body for cellular reproduction, and we're doing that by protecting the chromosomes, because what happens a lot of time if you overdo cellular replication, your chromosomes get damaged and you can actually age faster. The Epitalon is going to help lengthen those telomeres and keep telomerase active so that my cells have the ability to continue to divide at this rapid rate without aging and dying off. Specifically in the mitochondria is where we're going to get there in phase 4, because now we will only have clean, new, pure, strong cells flowing throughout the body. We should have cleared out nearly all of the bad, and if we're only replicating the highest version of cells that exist, based on the way I understand this, there's no reason that I shouldn't be able to have incredible muscle building abilities, incredible cognitive function, incredible fat loss, incredible organ function, and I'm getting blood tests all along the way to tell me how effective this stuff is. I think the reason I'm feeling so great is I'm just not feeling like crap anymore, not because anything impactful has happened positively, but because I've just gotten rid of all the negatives, if that makes sense. So that's my theory, and I'm running with it. It seems to be working out so far. I will see you guys in the next update. We are back at the end of phase 3. I have been on the Epitalon and the Pinealon for a little while now, and I am coming down to the end of it. And man, I am always ready to get off Epitalon at the end. The main reason, not for anything other than the fact that it just makes you a little bit tired and groggy during the day. That's usually how you know it's working, because your body is just resetting its melatonin production, so it's getting back in that groove. The best part about Epitalon is when you're done with it. A lot of people get this confused, and they're like, oh man, I'm 10 days in, I don't feel fantastic yet. I thought it was so good. No, you have to wait until you finish. And then your body has finished the reset, and all of the benefits start to happen, and we see our recovery, especially on our whoop, start to shoot up. It's the best. I am noticing a little bit of maybe overproduction from the Pinealon. I think I'm going to cut that a little bit short. I've got a few days left of the Epitalon. I had a pretty massive blunder this week. I was going to start my MOTS-c and overlap it with just the end of the Epitalon there, and I accidentally grabbed melanotan 2, not MOTS-c, entirely my fault, and I ended up doing taking 3 milligrams because that's what I was going to do for my MOTS-c, I was able to, still be at an 85% on the Whoop last night, even after all that, which was pretty impressive. Honestly, I was expecting to be in a much worse spot, but I'm very excited to move into phase 4. I'll have an update on that for you guys next week as we start getting a little more traction, or maybe even at the end of this week, depends. And that's really where I think we're going to see a ton of the physical benefit. I think, at least. I think a lot of people are going to start asking, what do I take? What do I do? And they're going to ask me about MOTS-c, because that's the one that I'm going to be taking that's going to show all of the benefit. But they're not going to realize the first 3 phases are really what made the MOTS-c able to work as powerfully as it could. Most people could take MOTS-c and get, a good bit of benefit. But when you can prime it for what it can really do, we're talking about fueling our mitochondria, which improve every function of the body. And that's every function of the body, right? We talk a lot about muscle, fat loss, all of these things, but anything that you do, we can improve it with enhanced mitochondria, because everything is centered at mitochondria. So if we can improve everything about the way that our mitochondria functions and stop them from wasting energy, stop them from wasting some of the stuff that we're going to give it in order to get bigger muscles, more fat loss, better sleep, darker hair, better eyes, better skin, but whatever it is you're going for, a lot of people just talk about, what do I feed it? I want to give it more. I want to give it more. I want to make it better. So my prediction is, I think about a month from now, today is April, 21st, 22nd. I would venture to guess by end of May, this same time, May 21st, May 22nd, I should just look ridiculous. I should look like a freak, like I should be leaner than I am today and have more muscle. That's pretty freaking sick, if you really think about it. Because anytime prior to this in medical history, if someone were to tell you I'm gonna be leaner and have more muscle and I'm gonna do it in 30 days, they would look at you like a clown, because then you just couldn't do it. But once we have this whole cellular function part figured out and the proper diet to go with it, so I'm eating a pretty high protein diet. I'm around 250 grams of protein a day. And then I'm pairing that right now, it's super heavy carb. I'm probably like 300-ish grams of carbs a day, somewhere around there. I'm gonna cut that down just barely, probably like 250. I'm gonna do 250, and I should just explode. And the nice part is it's gonna be lean too. We are about a week into part 4, and guys, I feel electric. MOTS-c, I knew phase 4 was going to be the phase where I started to feel and look awesome. My progress photos in the gym today have been pretty elite, and I was saying this from the beginning. I think by phase 4, we're going to see all the crazy outputs start to happen. What I don't want to happen is people are like, okay, I'm just going to do the MOTS-c and the mitochondrial replication as well as the increased output and think that they're just going to get all these crazy results. That's not going to happen. You need to do some preliminary phases. At the very least, an SS31 before the MOTS-c is going to be the minimum. I don't know that I can necessarily recommend FOXO4 yet, because I don't think that I've seen any dramatic difference between what I've done with just the SS31 versus the SS31, then the FOXO4. The Epitalon I would definitely include in there, because I've done that before and I know it's effective. And I really like the Pinealon in pair with that, because that's just increased the receptors in my body to be able to receive the message from the MOTS-c, which I'm loving. And look, when I tell you guys, the muscle building is phenomenal. The fat loss is there, but the athleticism, the cardiovascular benefits, that's something I didn't expect. I know it's listed as one of the effects of the product, but I haven't felt this cardiovascular strength since I was in high school and actually running. You wouldn't catch me dead on a jog. A lot of you guys know this about me. I notice it a lot, especially when I'm boxing. Like, it's a very tiring sport, and I'm usually huffing and puffing by the end of it. Last couple rounds I've gone while I've been on this stuff, I don't know, I've just been able to stick it out through the end, and where everybody else is keeled over on their knees, like, I'm ready to go. I'm really enjoying the MOTS-c. I started at 3 milligrams every other day. I'm going to bump it up to 5 milligrams every other day. I'm seeing that's actually a bit of a light dose, but the point is, this shit's working and I feel freaking awesome. So I will see you guys in the next update, but I think within the next 4 or so weeks, I should just have a ridiculous physique. So hopefully I see you guys by the end of this and I do one of these and I look freaking retarded ripped. We're back for another update on phase 4. Let me tell you, I feel good. The first things I noticed were primarily physical and then athletic. The theme of this week has just been dopamine. And I did a deep dive on dopamine. And if you're seeing this, I just recorded my dopamine video. I'm actually wearing the same shirt. And gosh, I just noticed the immediate compounding effects of my internal reward system. And if you missed that video, the whole point of dopamine, it's not the feeling of this immense happiness or this joy of reaching a destination. That's, your serotonin and other chemicals in your body. So I think there's a lot more I could go into in terms of like, I don't really experience procrastination anymore, which is one of the key indicators of optimized dopamine. There's nothing that I'll do later or that I'll go get to another time or once I'm rested, or there's none of that. Something comes across, I just knock it out because I just want to. I have this desire to. And this isn't even just work things. This is menial crap around the house, taking out the trash, picking up something off the floor, smallest little things. But more than anything, I've found myself conversing with humans more. Like I'm just making a better connection, a better interaction with people. And that's not something I've always been effective at. I worked in a position where communication was really important for a long time, but I almost did it like as a profession. It wasn't, really about who I was. But I'm now going out of my way to do this on a more intimate level with people. And I've really enjoyed that. So I hope this doesn't fade away after this experiment. I hope this is something that continues to foster and that, I'm going to do this, not this whole experiment, but several parts of this protocol, between 2 and 3 times a year. So it's something to look forward to each time that I'm just going to be in this serene state. Here we are, 2 weeks, 3 weeks into phase 4 here. I feel good, feel real good. Look at that, bam. Starting to fill back out again. Number one thing I'll say is my strength is definitely returning. It's been gone for a while in this experiment and even a little bit leading up to it too, because I was overdoing the red. A good marker for me is usually my chest strength. That usually tells me how strong I am in comparison to weeks, months past. And today I was able to, do the 130s on the dumbbell incline again, which I haven't done in a while. The highest number I ever got up to was the 140s. I was doing those for like 4 or 5 reps. So if I get back to that, then I will have returned to my peak physical strength that I've ever been at. If I can do that while being lean, that would be pretty sick. Something I noticed this week more than anything is how rested and recovered oh my Lord, I have not felt that in so long. And I knew it was only a matter of time because once the Epitalon cycle finishes, that's when it really hits. It's an incredible feeling. And if you're somebody who does not get great sleep right now, especially if you wear a Whoop and you see that you're in the yellow pretty consistently or low green, getting back to that and just feeling that like refreshing feeling again, feeling that mental acuity just return to your body and the energy come back to you, it's like nothing I could possibly describe. I've of course felt the negative ramifications of damaged cellular health. A lot of you guys know for a long time I was a heavy drinker. I had been using drugs and all sorts of stuff. But this cellular rehabilitation that I've been going through has been one of the best things I've ever done for myself. And I can say with full certainty, this is the best I've felt in a very long time. And I wake up and I feel fantastic. I want to take the extra steps to improve again. For a long time, I kind of just skipped over a lot of the things that I knew I should be doing. Like I'm back to reading in the mornings and getting morning sunlight, and I'm doing all my digestion walks, and I'm just doing all the little things that you kind of skip out on when you're not feeling 100%, which is really just you kind of being a puss. But it's easy to get in that mindset, that like rut mindset. Like when you don't do one thing, you don't do 100 things. I have this kind of glow that has come back to me, this energy, this pureness that I feel again. And whether it's the peptide or placebo or whatever, I'm enjoying it. Hopefully this is still around here next week and it's not just some short-term burst that's unrelated. Aside from that, we'll keep on cruising and I'll keep you guys updated. Here we are, week 4, 5, whatever it is. And guys, I'm there. I probably got another week or so, 2 weeks I'm gonna do this, but like I am there. I've got it figured out. So if you kept up with this series on Instagram, you saw I've just absolutely cracked the code on Whoop recovery. I have found this experiment incredible. I think I've tried all the ones that would require extreme bodily shifts. Now I'm just gonna make myself as super powered as humanly possible. Instead of degrading and destroying myself, I am going to find such drastic ways to improve myself that it will become superhuman. And that was the idea of starting the Fox as well. We'll move into the blood work after that and we'll see what happens next. I'll see you guys soon. We are just about complete with the 4-phase experiment. I could not be happier with the results, but as promised for you guys, at the end of this experiment, I said I was gonna release my full protocol, top to bottom, everything I took, dosing, frequency, and I'm gonna give that to you guys here now. Starting with phase 1, I did SS31. I did that for 20 days straight. I dosed that at 12.5 milligrams a day. A key part of this experiment is the supplementary things that I added in with my lead sources, and I will go through those as well for each section. For phase 1, not only did I have the SS31, I also had the Wolverine blend, and I was also using NAD+. Wolverine blend just to make sure that the receptors in my body were being as receptive as possible, as well as the inflammation was staying low so that the treatment could reach mitochondrial membrane. And the NAD, of course, was to give my body more cellular energy in order to provide these functions like building that mitochondrial membrane back. Now that's 20 days, no off days. I like to do that in the morning, certainly not the night, because I do get a boost of energy from it, or at least it makes me feel like I do. Phase 2, we moved into the purging phase. Now a lot of people ask, why not do the purging first? And the reason is, if the mitochondria and the cell membrane are damaged, it doesn't matter what I try to put into my body, it's just gonna flood out and it's gonna release toxins out to the rest of my body because my cells are spewing what is basically their excrement. So if I wanted to do my FOXO4 DRI, which is the main peptide I used in phase 2, if the cells were all leaking, it would have just poured right out. So a lot of people think of this in a very literal sense, where they think about it like a big bucket of water, where you should remove everything out of the bucket before you start repairing it. It's not exactly the same. We're talking about microscopic level things before macro level things happen. FOXO4 was a little bit more macro. We were fully removing senescent cells out of the body. FOXO4 is really just like the Barrett 50 cal. Fasting is kind of like the Nerf gun. It does work. All we're trying to do is signal autophagy. It does make it work at the end of the day, but the FOXO4 DRI is much more impactful than doing things like a multi-day fast. Also, for someone like me who's not trying to lose tons and tons of weight, I still lost like 10 or 15 pounds on the FOXO4 DRI. I ended up coming out looking really skinny because I had to keep my carbohydrates really low in order to signal the P21, which is the active thing inside of the cell that we're trying to pull out that's going to cause that cell death. And in order to make that happen, you can't really have much carbs or protein in your diet at all when you're doing this FOXO4. I mix that in with PQQ, as well as still taking the urolithin A and spermidine, which is also helpful at signaling that autophagy. I did the FOXO4 dosed at 15 milligrams a day for 5 days straight. I just wanted to get it over with. They tell you to do it every other day. I was not fasting that long. There's no way. And I knew I was going to end up coming out looking rough. It also has an effect on your mind and things like that, which I talked about earlier in the video, but oh boy, I was just ready to get that over with. Then we moved into phase 3, which was just best, because then we started moving back in the positive direction. It's an unfortunate cycle because after you finish the SS31, you feel awesome. Muscle building is at an all-time high. Fat loss is at an all-time high. The body is just working the way it's designed to work. It's not supercharged, but it's just at 100% ability. For most people that are just getting started, I would probably skip it. If you want to do it with the FOXO4 1 out of the 3 times a year that you do this blend, great, fine. But as you move into phase 3, for me, that was Epitalon and Pinealon, also with NAD and Wolverine. But really the main 2 actives there were Epitalon, Pinealon. Epitalon is going to lengthen those telomeres out, make it so that DNA replication off the tips of the chromosomes. Epitalon is also really good for resetting your internal clock, meaning the time that you go to bed, the time that you wake up, it resets that circadian rhythm inside you, giving you incredibly restful sleep. And that was something I was struggling with at the time. Of course, I'm up late sometimes, on Saturday nights, sometimes I'm up until 5 a.m., 6 a.m. So doing that Epitalon periodically throughout the year gives my body an internal reset to know, okay, I'm going to be really well rested and recovering during my sleep hours, even though I'm telling my body I'm going to be up late on Saturday. Pinealon was incredible for priming the body for the mast cellular replication, because Pinealon makes the receptors in your body more adept at responding to things like peptides. So theoretically, you can turn yourself into a hyper responder. I loved the Pinealon. It just offers this clear mind, this relaxed state where everything just kind of clicks with you. And the medical reason for why I do that is because I know moving into phase 4, I want whatever I take next to really hit home, but you also do get a nice cognitive benefit from it, and you just start to think a little bit clearer, which was nice. Epitalon and Pinealon, you're going to do both of those for 20 days straight, and I did the Epitalon at 10 milligrams a day. Again, you're going to hear some people tell you to do things like 1-2 milligrams a night. Take it an hour before bed. You want to make sure that you're setting that internal clock. These are expensive treatments, but if you want them to work the way that they have worked for me, you have to do them this way. We're all in it together. Pinealon, I started it honestly kind of high. I was doing 3, sometimes even 5 milligrams a day. I ended up dropping it down to 1.5 to 2 because it almost just kind of felt like too much in the brain, and my receptors were being overly active for some things. So I ended up dropping it down, and I found my sweet spot right around 2 milligrams a day. Now, lastly, phase 4, which I said this in phase 1. I said phase 4 is going to be absolutely wicked, and it's going to get all the credit, but it's everything I did leading up to it that made it what it was. And phase 4 is MOTS-c. MOTS-c raises our AMPK, which is going to increase the energy that our body creates. It's going to increase the way that our body does things like nutrition partitioning, taking in things like carbohydrates and using them purely for energy instead of any fat stores on the body. Also giving us the ability to have incredible athletic endurance, super sharp cognitive enhancement, and all of the rest and recovery benefits that you would look for. I think MOTS-c is one of the most revolutionary peptides that exists on the marketplace today, but a lot of people aren't getting the full benefits of it because their mitochondria are damaged or their cells are not primed to have that much cellular energy pushed into them, which is why I say all of those prior stages are really important before you get to phase 4 in order for the MOTS-c to work that well. But yes, to the answer to the question, you can do MOTS-c on its own and still get awesome results. I've done it before. At the very least, if you're going to do nothing else, do the SS31 first and then the MOTS-c, and it is lights out. But if you can do the whole experiment, unfair. This is my 3rd time, by the way, using MOTS-c. I've also done it where I messed up the first time. I did the MOTS-c first and then SS31. This is part of the experimenting process. There wasn't a lot of people at the time who you could consult about this, so I was just kind of trying to understand the pathways and what I should do first. But now I've been able to spend a lot more time researching. I have a really good understanding of how these things work. If you can do the MOTS-c after all of them, it's unlike anything that I've seen before to have mitochondria efficiency the way that I do now. No other way to explain it. It's awesome. But I do the MOTS-c at 5 milligrams every other day. Now, the most important part of MOTS-c is when you take it, because if muscle building is a priority for you, like it is for me, do not take it anywhere near your weightlifting workouts. All the crap you're going to see online says, make sure you take this before you go work out. No, that is only helpful if you're trying to lose fat. If you do it before you go work out, you're actually going to hurt your muscle building ability because it's going to drastically affect your mTOR. Your mTOR is catabolic to the muscle growth. Anytime you're raising AMPK, mTOR has an opposite reaction. It's going to really hurt the way that your body can put on muscle. So if you're doing something fat loss oriented, for me, I do boxing. I will definitely take it right before boxing because I need that cardio, and I'm not really looking to build muscle while I'm boxing. I'm looking to get shredded. Now, guys, I still have to take my remaining blood work on this test, but I will tell you, this has been one of the greatest discoveries that I have found in my scientific journey. As you guys know, I test a lot of different things, and I fully believe that I have stumbled upon what could be one of the most impactful things on the human body, which is how to actually enhance the mitochondria. Now, it's not a cheap process, it's not a fast process, but boy, does it work. So if you're interested in stuff like this, guys, I'm going to be constantly posting my latest experiments, always trying to find what is next in the health and wellness industry. I post twice a week. Hit that subscribe button and turn on post notifications so that you never miss a video, and I will see you guys in the next one.